You too, it's your boy Estefanos, and I'm back with a new video. So, I've been struggling to come up with which video to talk about next, because I don't want to stick to the same thing constantly. But you know what? If it ain't broken, then don't stop. So basically, I'm just gonna talk about Invincible and overall, my overall thoughts on the show, even though I've done a lot about it. But overall, though, damn, this show is something. Okay, I've seen bits of the what I mean by seeing bits of the comics, I've clips, pictures, stuff like that. And it doesn't really help when the Invincible fandom loves the spoiler stuff, which honestly, though, I get it. I'm not mad or anything, but it's really something to enjoy. But damn, this stuff, you have to be at least your mid-teens or older to be able to handle what the stuff that happens in Invincible. But yeah, without further ado, let's get started. And as always, hope you guys enjoyed these videos. I know they're not the best videos, but hey, a lot of you seem to enjoy them, and that's why I keep doing them. But yeah, and we're getting close to 100 subscribers, so I really do appreciate you all by clicking the subscribe button and sharing these videos with those you like. But without further ado, let's get started. Now, one of the main themes of Invincible is, are you a good or bad person from following these morals or these contingencies? If you kill somebody in order because of their evil intentions, are you still inherently a good person when murder is still not okay? It really poses the really good questions for superheroes, because when it comes to superheroes, I've noticed something. The only way you could really stop a villain is you have to erase them from existence, because if you don't, then they're gonna keep coming back, you feel me? You know how in most final battles at the end of superheroes or just, action movies in general, the good guy, or main protagonist essentially, has to end the antagonist. You know how most antagonists in Disney movies or DreamWorks movies, or they legit get eradicated, destroyed, killed off. And half the time we don't see it, but if it's mature Invincible, you'll see them die. But unlike Invincible, they usually stay dead unless they're revived. But the one thing I love about Invincible, it really poses if murder's right. And that's especially the case in season 3. Now, Mark, at this point, has been through a lot. And the dude has legit fought his father, who was believed to be a superhero, but really is a conqueror for his empire, for his home planet's empire. And essentially, he had to clean up all his dad, do the cleanup of his dad's actions. And that was mostly season 2. And towards the end of season 2, Mark had to kill the season's main villain, Angstrom Levy, who wasn't really good right in the head because of an accident in the beginning of the season. And he was threatening Debbie and Oliver, and Mark had no choice to kill him. Even though, Mark had been struggling up to that point on not becoming his father, trying to prove to everyone, and mostly himself, that he's not his father. And basically, throughout season 3, Mark feels bad for it. And the main theme of season 3 is what's more important, morality or contingency. And basically, this season was all about Mark versus Cecil, where Mark believes if you're a murderer or just a villain in general doing bad things, you should be locked up and not given a second chance or rehabilitation. While Cecil, on the other hand, believes that villains have if they have good intentions, then you're gonna use whatever it takes because it's his job to protect the planet. And he really says this line where you could either be the good guy or the guy who saves the world. You can't be both. Where he basically says, when you're the good guy, you focus on being perfect. You try to do everything. You try to save everyone. But when it comes to saving the world, you have to do whatever it takes. Sometimes you have to make a deal with the devil. Sometimes you have to team up with your enemies. My enemy is my friend, and that. And it really poses a good question. And oh my god, if he fought across the Spider-Verse, split people this season really split people because a lot of people side with Cecil and a lot of people side with Mark. And it really did because whenever I would watch like a reaction to like what's it called, episode 2 of season 3, whenever I would just watch, the comments were filled with people either siding with Mark or Cecil. And it's like you really and I've seen tons of video essays as well where people give why people would side with Cecil and why they side with Mark or just in between. Now, personally, I've said I'm in the middle, but I lean more on Mark's side. Where how do we know if we can trust the villains that are helping us? I understand that the world is at stake, but basically, I'm trying to figure out. So, at the spoilers, if you haven't seen season 3, but at the end of the season, where well, Conquest, which is like the second strongest Viltrumite, showed up after the Invincible War, he and Mark fought, and Mark got rocked. He got destroyed. His arm broken, bone sticking out, leg, femur cut, and Mark fought. He killed him because after Eve just vaporized him, Mark headbutted him so many times, and it fought to be dead. But apparently Cecil kept his old ass up because apparently he wants to interrogate him to get information on the Viltrumite Empire. Now, most people I've seen hate this, and I agree. But a lot of people agree with Cecil. It makes sense, don't get me wrong, but you do know that you're just proving Mark right that you're letting your ego get the better of you. And what happens if this guy wakes up? Like, you do know he's either gonna kill. This is how I'm gonna see it. Conquest is either gonna do one of many things. One, he's gonna wake up and tell Cecil everything about the Viltrumites, or B, he wakes up and apologizes for what he does, and just simply is turned into chooses to be a reaniman to fight up against the Viltrumites. C, he doesn't wake up at all and is dead, or actually is dead, or D, he wakes up, causes more damage, and goes back to the Viltrumites. I feel like I know everyone will know the most notable answer to that. So, yeah. Again, when I first met Cecil in season 1, I will admit, he could get on your nerves sometimes, but when you watch his backstory, you understand what he's been through. He was like Mark at one point, but now you realize that you have to have a certain attitude if you're saving the world. You can't have the childish mindset of being the squeaky clean good guy. But like, I really love this because it really puts it not a unique, but it puts like an interesting take on the whole concept. It's like Civil War all over again, where you're either on the Team Cap or Iron Man side, or in this case, you all know I love the Spider-Verse movies, but in Across the Spider-Verse, it's the same thing. You're either Team Miles or Team Miguel. Miguel, you side with Miguel, who's like Cecil. Well, okay, when it comes to the siding, Cecil is more reasonable than Miguel, without a doubt, because they're both bent on their beliefs, while Miles and Mark are teenagers. They're young. While to me, Mark is more emotional, but you can't blame Mark because he's been through a lot. So it makes sense that he wants to prove that he's just as good as his dad, that he's better than his dad. While Miles, on the other hand, believes as spider people with the power to save people, you use that power to save whoever. It doesn't matter if you're loved or stranger, whoever. But Miguel's saying, if you choose one person over saving millions, then that's selfish, and that puts the universe at risk. But like, people forget that being Spider-Man isn't about who you save, how many people you save. You save anybody, no matter what. That's what I love about Spider-Man. That's why I side with Miles. It is a reason why I side with Miles. And people side with Miguel because it makes sense. But we don't know that. You know what I mean? Well, on Cecil, it makes better sense. But, and then like, okay. People, and like, a lot of people, like, and then we have to bring in Oliver into this discussion because early in the season, he kills the Maulers. Almost everyone is mad at Oliver for it, but he's like, well, you killed the guy who hurt Mom, who was threatening me and Mom when I was a jit. But Mark says that's an accident. That was an accident. And Oliver's like, so is this. The first one, yeah. The second one, no. But I don't really think Oliver's wrong about killing villains. The thing people forget, Oliver is not human. The dude legit is half Viltrumite, half Fraxian. He has a short lifespan and is half Viltrumite. So I don't really blame Oliver for having this, because the dude saw his planet get attacked, his mom's arm broken, and now he got like he almost was crushed by conquest. He's gonna remember this. Trust me, in season 4, this dude is either gonna be the same or different. And he changed Mark's whole concept. In the beginning of the season, he was like, "We don't kill. Killing is wrong." While now, at the end of the season, he's like, "You were right. Angstrom and the Maulers and Conquest were all bad people and should have deserved to die. So if anyone ever put my family at danger or threaten them ever again, I won't hesitate to kill them." And a lot of people seemed happy about that. But then there are a lot of people who are like worried that Mark is becoming more and more Viltrumite. And it's like, I get it, but it's like the writing is so good in this show where it makes sense and then like no one's wrong. That's what I love about this. You don't hate someone just for being out of character. It's within their character. And it's like we all know Mark is a good person. He's because of his human side, it's gonna help, but like it's also the emotions. But one thing I love about Mark, he will do what he believes is right, despite the trauma. Sure, he gets his butt kicked every single fight, but he keeps going. He keeps fighting because it's not about his body that's invincible. It's his spirit. But yeah, this show is peak. I'm sorry. Season 1 and 3 are peak. Season 2 has a lot of highlights. Season 2, I would say, is probably. It does a lot of character building, but overall, it was more so that than an actual season. You know what I mean? So that's probably why a lot of people hated it. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this video. What were your thoughts on season 3? I know I've asked that already, but overall, what side are you? Are you Team Cecil or Team Mark? And do you believe you could be the good guy or the guy who saves the world, and that you could choose either one life and to save the whole universe, or you have to save millions of lives from other universes, every single world? Do you believe you can do both? Comment down below and let's have a discussion. And as always, hope you all enjoy, and peace.